It doesn't grow all at once. Not in a way you notice. Not in a way that feels important. Just a path that's a little smoother, a left where there wasn't one before, something placed and then forgotten. Days passed, then weeks, then something begins to settle in. The space between those things starts to close. The world begins to take a shape, and what was once empty begins to feel familiar. You stop seeing it as pieces and start seeing it as places. Somewhere you've been, somewhere you remember, somewhere that remembers you back. This is the real beauty to a forever world. It's yours, and it's always there for you. I spend a lot of time in our world, and I plan on spending a lot more time, because as you know, in this world, we have forever. Hey, welcome to ForeverCraft, and wouldn't you know it, I press the record button and it immediately starts raining. Anyway, today I want to work on setting up those horse stalls that I talked about in the last video. I want to get a little place to store our horses at each location. If we're going to make this no elytra thing stick around for the long term, I really need to be like comfortable in each area and have easy access to a horse. And anytime I have something that's like unique across different parts of my world, I like to have like a build around it and like an in-world mechanic. So in this case, I want to build horse stables at each of our build locations. First, we're going to need some materials. I'm going to gather those real quick because I feel like I start every video digging through 100 chests. So I'll be back in 1 second after I get all the materials. All right, we've got all the blocks we need, except for some reason, I don't have any wheat. So we're going to have to stop by our giant farm and pick up some wheat seeds that we can make hay bales. I want to have hay bales in each of these little horse stalls. That way, just, you know, it really sets the scene. For me, these small builds are like what make me love Minecraft. These builds are almost for me like the secret to a long-term survival world. The big builds are awesome, but these little builds add so much character. And in this case, they actually have like a function and they anchor like a mechanic that we've given ourselves in the world. I've decided that I want to try to use elytras as little as possible. And so I'm making horse riding a very like practical in-world thing. All right, where do we want to harvest this wheat from? We're probably not going to AFK here much, so wherever we take this from will be not grown for a long time. I actually don't know how much wheat is in a hay bale, but I assume it's like 9. And I probably need like, I don't know, 7 or 8 hay bales. So I guess we're just going to pick a random spot here and deal with it. You'll notice that none of this soil is saturated. If you instantly plant a wheat seed upon breaking one of these, it'll actually plant and it will grow. It does grow, however, slow. So if you're gonna go for this method, it is not good for like long term. If you're just trying to get a whole bunch of wheat and keep harvesting it, you do want to saturate the soil because it grows a lot faster. But if you just have a big aesthetic wheat field like this, it is totally acceptable to not have any water in the area. Unless you want areas to have that like darker soil color. And you can do that at edges. Like we could have buried water underneath this hill here and all of this could have been saturated. I just found it a lot easier to go around with a hoe and keep them kind of tilled as I planted the seeds. But if you didn't know, now you know. You don't actually need water to grow crops in Minecraft. Although it does make things a lot faster. Like I said, we need 6 or 7 hay bales. So what's that, like 56 wheat? We probably already have that. Yeah, we're good. All right, let's bring this over to the house and craft it real quick. Where'd our horse go? This is why you need stables for your horses. Look at this guy. He's just taking off up the hill. It probably would have been useful to give horses a function like dogs where you could right click to have them sit, but I can see how that might be a little too overpowered. And it's just further reason that we need to get this stable in place. Although, let's be honest, the stable's not going to follow me around the world, so we're just going to have to deal with our horses wandering around a little bit. Oh, look at that. There is actually a fence post here. You'd be surprised how many tie-up points you end up with in your world, especially if you're someone like me and puts spruce fence posts in every build pretty much. Where's the crafting table? Is there not a crafting table in here? Not much of a build here. This won't be the first or last time I come here looking for one, so. All right, 7 hay bales. That ought to be plenty with a little bit of extra. All right, now we're gonna go, and I think I'm gonna build the first stable at the shopping district. That's kind of been like my main focus recently. And there's also one more little build I'd like to do there this episode. I think I want to build just a little walking bridge. Right now, our nether portal is across the stream. And once again, I'm trying to make this experience as smooth as possible so that when we come out of the nether portal there at the shopping district, we're able to walk right across a nice little handmade walking bridge and grab our horse from the stable. And like, we're good to go right off the rip. I have not had a chance yet to watch any ice boat highway tutorials between episodes. So we're still kind of just making it work here on the end. Someday I'll get around to checking that thing out, but that's one of those things where it's only slightly annoying and it's just a tiny blip occasionally when I'm going through the nether, so those kind of things just always linger in your world. I do highly recommend fixing those things and just getting it done, but practice what you preach or do as I say, not as I do, something like that. All right, for now, this is a pretty small build, so it's not like we can't move it in the future, but I think I want the bridge to go kind of right here, and we're gonna have to turn this so that we can walk down to our portal. I don't know exactly how we're gonna do this entrance, but I wanna have the bridge right about here, and then I'm gonna put the stable just across the water, maybe on this little shelf right here. Doesn't exactly fit the town aesthetic, so I figure if we put it down here over the hill, it'll kind of blend in. Oh, you know what? One thing I meant to grab was coarse dirt. We may have some left on the road. Actually, we almost definitely have some left. Let's go check up here, see if there's some coarse dirt in some of our shulkers up here. All right, perfect. I knew I had some coarse dirt up here around here somewhere. Let's also just drop these seeds somewhere. I feel like I need a storage area in every part of my world. No matter what, I'm always just having these random blocks, and I cannot throw them away. So I just throw them in a chest or throw them somewhere. Oh, look. Why do we have so much wheat here? I guess we didn't need to get any wheat. We had a whole bunch here already. Oh well. All right, first things first, let's find a little patch here and get an idea of what this build is gonna look like. It's gonna go up here on the land. I want like a little bit of a coarse dirt bed for the horse, if that makes sense. We probably should wait and not put this in yet, but I'm just gonna throw down some coarse dirt to kind of get a feel for how big of an area the horse will have. It's really gonna be, at least for now, just my one horse per area. So it's not a massive build. All right, first things first, I want to use some stripped spruce wood as like the walls, if you can consider them walls in a stable. 1, 2, 3, 4. I know, 4 blocks. I think I'm gonna make it even because I've really got a picture for. I want to keep this thing really like tight and small. So the horse is gonna go like right here, 2 blocks wide for the horse, and then the little hay bale feature, and of course, probably a little lantern on the hay bale. I don't know where my lantern went. Oh, it's probably in here. Little lantern so that we can find this thing if we come through the portal in the night. And speaking of the night, I gotta go sleep. All right, now I want to keep this structure relatively, I feel like I'll say words and I have a thought in my brain. And again, these videos are a lot different than like my old standard videos. Like I want to keep the build thin. Hopefully that makes sense to anyone watching. But what I'm trying to say is like, I don't want it to be a thick walled blocky build. So we're going to go with a lot of just like open airy blocks, fence posts, walls, things like that, just to kind of give it a nice, like, it's a roof over the horse's head, but it's still an outside horse, right? Or, is that a thing? My brain goes to like outside dogs and like, so I guess an outside horse follows that. This is my first time using these shelves. I really like the texture they add. It gives you a nice little side profile with a bump out. I don't know how I feel about the top texture being so close to the strip spruce, but I do like that texture, I believe. And by the time we put like fence posts up here, that'll blend in pretty good anyway, so I'm not too worried about the textures being similar. All right, and then the roof is gonna be pretty simple as well. Just a good old slab roof with some trapdoors and some other blocks to give it some texture. But I think I'm gonna go with a border of dark oak, and then like the middle will be spruce slabs. And actually, I'm thinking about it a little bit more, and I'm gonna do a full block for the corners so that we can put a shelf on here and add just a little bit more, like, if you use a feature, like I put shelves down there to add texture, so it always makes sense in my brain to add a similar block to the top, if that makes sense, hopefully. All right, we'll go across here, put another one there. Actually, I don't want that to be up here. I want that to be down here. Building on camera is hard, okay? This is not something I ever do and probably still won't do very often, but I thought this build's simple. I can just talk while I do it. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. All right, I think I'm gonna go with walls. It's always a nice look to go with like walls on either side of your fence post to give it more of like a staple, like a stability piece at the top. There we go. Is that symmetrical? We've got walls on each side. That was a misplaced. Don't worry about that. All right. And then now we need to go across the top here. Again, I want to do like a framing of this. And then in the middle, we'll do spruce wood just to give us a little light and dark contrast. Oops. And now that I'm looking at this, I'm actually going to go with full blocks on the front too, and put some shelves here as well. So we'll put a full block, and that way we could do like shelves on the front face of this. I guess we still could have done that on the spruce planks. I don't know. It makes sense in my brain. Don't worry about it. So we're gonna put shelves here, 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 and finally here. And then now on the top, just to give the top a little bit of texture, we'll put some trap doors. There, there, there. It always hurts my brain. So that's a half slab. This is a full slab. Yep. Okay, that works. And then finally, just because we can, I think we'll put a couple more right here. I do want it to have a slight like ramshackle feel, if that makes sense. So I like that it's kind of bumpy and the trapdoors kind of help you almost get like a screw look, like there's big nails on the sides holding stuff together. And I think this is a perfect little home for our horse when he's in his home away from home. I'm also immediately noticing that I did not grab a lead for this horse. So we probably need to put some kind of storage at each of these. Maybe a barrel in place of one of these blocks and keep like leads and carrots maybe in them. But anyway, if I had a lead, I would tie this guy up right here. And that would be the build, right? You've got a nice little horse stable just outside of our portal at every location. 2 builds in 1 video. Let's do it. Build number 2 is going to be a little walking bridge. I've got to figure out a good spot. Our portal is not in a great location. We may end up moving that portal some, but for now, I'm going to make it work. We're going to go just straight across, maybe like right here. I might erode this beach just a little bit so I can scoot it as far as I can. And then we'll just be able to walk across right here. Do I have enough dirt to do that? I'll actually carve a little bit of this dirt away as well. I don't love beach sand on rivers, honestly. I kind of wish that it didn't generate. I don't see a lot of rivers, at least not near me, that have sand on their coastlines. So I'm not even really sure where Minecraft like came up with that concept. I'm sure it is a thing. And don't get me wrong, there are rivers near me with like beachy sand, but it's not common, so I wouldn't expect to see it on every river. All right, so not every build in your world, once again, needs to be a technical masterpiece or marvel. We're just gonna do a quick little walking bridge here. You've probably seen similar designs before. We're gonna use slabs, trapdoors, and campfires to give it a nice little thin walking bridge feel. Between these posts, I'm actually gonna go with campfires because it actually, the wood almost goes, see how the wood is horizontal? It's almost like a 2x4 if you've seen those like four-wheeler or small vehicle crossing bridges that they put in like very rural areas. Oh, jeez. Wow. That spooked me. I thought maybe Play-Doh or Panda or someone else logged back in. I had no idea what could possibly have just shot me. Where's the rest of the troop? Just one lone guy smoked me right into the fire, of course. All right. What was I saying? I totally lost my train of thought here. Oh, yeah. So trapdoors, these, and then I'm going to flank the campfires with spruce slabs like that. And then there'll be one here. And then I want to keep the fireplaces going all the way down the middle just to kind of make it cohesive along the length of the bridge. So we'll go like this. It'll be 1, 2, 3. Then there's going to be fireplace. I'm going to keep all the fireplaces running left to right. Ow. Fireplaces are very annoying to make or to craft, and they're also very annoying to work with, but it is a very unique texture, and it's kind of adds something you really can't get with other blocks. So we'll make it work. It's just the way it is. Like this is going to burn me. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you got me. Put those out. All right, and then we're going to need our first posts. Oh, also, I don't even know if you caught that. I feel like sometimes I just assume people have seen stuff before, but a fun little trick when you're doing like bridges or things in the water, if you use the unstripped version of a log in the water, it looks like wet and waterlogged and darker. And then you use the stripped version above for like a dried out block, if that makes sense. That's why we're going stripped in the water or stripped out of the water and then not stripped in the water. You can even do that and strip it after the fact. Bam and bam. And you're kind of already getting a feel for what this bridge is going to look like. It's pretty simple, but I think it has just enough life and character to it that it'll fit nicely in this area. Again, we're kind of on the outskirts off the edge of town. We do need to do some terraforming there too. I keep looking up and seeing this like flat wall. Gotta sleep. Gotta sleep. It is certainly a different challenge to get little builds and stuff like this done in the world with this new recording style. But I think over time, I'll get a little bit more and more confident with it, and I'll have a little bit of a better idea of what I'm doing. I feel like I am kind of flubbering around right now. Is that a word? Flubbering? It is now. And I think we could probably do better about like actually getting builds done. And some days I'll have more time and I still will do like the big time lapses, but little builds like this would be a 5-second time lapse, right? You got to remember, whenever you see one of those big long time lapses on my channel with like the music in the background, that was me building for like 3 hours straight. And that is probably not a reasonable amount for someone to sit through for an everyday YouTube video, but something like this that I can get done in like 20 minutes on the channel, it's a little bit more fun, I think, to bring you along for the journey. All right, there's that. We need one more row across here. We're getting better. We did not burn ourselves this time. All right, is this gonna work out nicely? It looks like it will. I may have to peel that hill back just slightly, but it would be nice if we could start end to end on a campfire line. So like that would be that. There would be a pillar here, and then campfires here. Slab, slab, slab. And then finally campfires across right here. Yeah, we're gonna have to peel the hill back just a little bit, but it's not too bad. Some very minor terraforming. I'm kind of been low on dirt anyway, so we'll just peel this back and you'll never know that I changed anything. It already was kind of a little steep of a hill anyway, so you really don't even notice. Whenever I'm peeling back a hill like this, you may notice that I kind of look up into the corner of the blocks, and I find if you sweep like this and just take the points off of the edge of a hill when you're terraforming, you end up with a decently little round area. Of course, like, it's not a perfect system. You still have to come back and kind of fix spots that look a little bit off. But if you're trying to like just sweep off the edge of a hill, I always find just kind of looking up at an angle and kind of curving along the edge is a good way to get like a reasonable result very fast. All right, let's pull this back a little bit here. And then I want to step down into this, like I said. So let's try to extend this just ever so slightly here. We'll also extend in the water some, just in case it's noticeable from the surface. Right there, right there. Throw one block there. I don't love that we're using dirt there. That should definitely be gravel or something, but this is a quick and dirty build, all right? Not a slow and clean or whatever the alternate option is. All right, throw this dirt back across here. This is a step down. That'll be a step down, and then that's a step down. Does that make sense? That's pretty ugly. Let's just put this back for now. We'll do a staircase, and again, we may like rotate this portal and find a different way. I don't want the portal to be visible from the town, which is why we put it down in the hole, but this will work for now. A little bit of a walking path to show that this is a well-trodden area. And then just connect this dirt up a little bit so that the bridge has somewhere to offload and we can fit our trap doors. Right, a very tiny little ramp up to the bridge. Oh, we should have left that grass. We don't have bone meal to grow more grass. And we'll come back through and texture this dirt a little bit. This is also, you gotta be really careful. You start extending out beaches and you gotta go in the water too, because it does look a little bit awkward if you've got too high drops in your water line, because you can see through the water to see that first layer. So not adding like texture blocks, like if you've got too much dirt, it really kind of sticks out when you're in this area, or at least it does to me. Maybe the average guy who's walking through your area doesn't notice it, but when you log in every day and look at it, you will notice that stuff. Bam, bing, bop, boom. We definitely need a staircase and more efficient way there, but that's a good start. I don't love this being, I think we gotta go one more. Okay, like that? Yeah, that feels a little better. Oh, you know what? We're missing this post. That might be why this feels weird. Like that. Okay, and then I want to add, just to add a little bit more character once again, we'll throw some bookshelves on this thing. Oh, did we use them all? Oh no, spruce shelves. There we go. We'll put these on the edges of these just to add some texture. I'm saying texture. I don't know if that's the right word. It's to change the profile of the block so that it's not flat. Whatever the best form of the word to say that is, that's what I said, okay? Surely if you go back and listen, that's what you'll hear. Just like that. And again, I don't love that this texture is so similar with spruce. So at the very end here, I'm going to come back and just cap these off with a little dark oak chocolate bar. I'm sorry if you've never heard or seen that before, but dark oak trapdoors look a little bit too much like squares of a chocolate bar. From a distance and from an angle though, they give a nice little color contrast and it caps off these little pillars pretty nicely. And there it is, a quaint little walking bridge to get across from our portal. No more going for a swim every time we need to get across out of that portal, and our horse will be waiting for us tied up right here because we're gonna remember to get a lead next time we come back. Speaking of horse, where is he? I don't know, and I don't have time to find him right now, all right? But if you made it this far, I appreciate you. Remember, the little builds in your world are what make it fun. They don't all have to be big, and sometimes they don't even have to have a reason, but these ones do. That is all I have time for in this episode. If you made it this far, I appreciate you. Thanks for sticking around. Have a good one. Now, where did this guy go?